Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second issue of the Senegal Presidential Campaign Journal, ranked in the Doing Business of 2020 among the top 10 business climate reformers. Senegal has put in place 52 measures aimed at propelling its economy forward. These include special focus on investment in a number of key areas like infrastructures. According to the Ministry of the Economy and Planning, Mamadou Mustafa Ba, between 2021 and 2022, Senegal has invested 12 billion of francs CFA in the construction of infrastructures. More details with Amin Eji.
A series of structuring projects that have led to significant progress in infrastructure. By 2024, 86% of the budget of the Ministry of Infrastructure's Land, Transport and Opening Up will be devoted to investment, reflecting the many challenges facing the sector. In recent years, we have seen a very high rate of investment, which was risen by almost 150%. In terms of foreign direct investment, we are one of the leading countries in West Africa, especially with the WAEMU, but there is still work to be done. On the one hand, these investments contribute to the continuation of a territorial network with the setting up of special economic zones. Between 2012 and 2021, 2,500 kilometers of road, 6,600 kilometers of track, and 189 kilometers of motorways will be built or renovated to facilitate access to these zones through the free movement of people and goods. The aim of special economic zones is to create massive employment, accelerate industrialization, and reduce the trade deficit. In terms of urban decongestions, 1,300 billion has been earmarked for the bus rapid transit project in 2024, following the inauguration of the Train Express Regional TER on December 27, 2021, and 90 billion for the restructuring of public transport. A budget of 283 billion has been earmarked for infrastructure and transport in 2024, an increase of 5 billion compared with 2023.
The Diomaye President Coalition kicked off its election campaign this March 9, 2024. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, number 2 of the Party for African Patriots of Senegal, for Work, Ethics and Fraternity, meaning PASTEF. He could be released from prison following the adoption of the amnesty law passed by Parliament last Wednesday, March 6, 2024, in order to campaign alongside his supporters. A report of Sheikh Umar Kamara. This Saturday, March 9, 2024, the Diomaye President Opposition Coalition, led by the opposition figure Ousmane Sonko and its candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye, marked the start of the electoral campaign for the March 24th presidential election by unveiling its project for a sovereign, just and prosperous Senegal, based on 4 main axes and 15 governance orientations. This ambitious project promises to bring about significant changes for the country's future. Representatives of the coalition presented details of their strategic plan, highlighting concrete proposals for transforming Senegal's governance. The 4 main axes of the project include promoting national sovereignty, ensuring equitable justice for all citizens, stimulating sustainable economic prosperity, and consolidating an inclusive and supportive social fabric.
This vision focuses on 5 key areas: institutional renewal and African commitment, indigenous economy and food sovereignty, human capital and quality of life, science, technology, innovation, and sustainable infrastructure, national security, and international influence.
On this occasion, the member of the coalition called for profound and comprehensive change, promising to place the country's interest considerations.
I'd like to sincerely thank you. Thank you for your resilience. Without you, we wouldn't be here. Without the people, we wouldn't have this victory. We've already won. We've already won. Although the consecration, it will be the victory of the candidate President Diomaye Faye, but we know the Senegalese people have already won. Although the consecration, it will be the victory of the candidate President Diomaye Faye, but we know the Senegalese people have already won. A project for the emancipation of the Senegalese people, a project to fight corruption. There will be no more 1,000 billion scandal, no more sell-off of our land. This is important, because the whole of Senegal has been sold off. We must have our Senegal back, and the people money must go to the people and be for the people.
This presentation marks the start of a dynamic electoral campaign where the ideas and projects of the various candidates will be at the center of debate. The Diomaye President Coalition aims to position itself as a hopeful alternative for the future of Senegal. On March 9, 2024, the Benno Bokk Yakaar coalition launched their campaign with their candidate Amadou Ba in Dakar at the campaign board meeting. Gathering the launch enabled the former Prime Minister to unveil the outlines of his project for Senegal, a subject of Mahmoudou Pam. Amadou Ba launched the opening of his electoral campaign to be elected as the head of Senegal on the evening of March 24, 2024, under the auspice of the members of the major coalition Benno Bokk Yakaar, composed of the main political parties that had won the previous presidential election with Macky Sall. In his speech, he committed to continuing the vision of an emerging Senegal and promised to achieve his goals by 2030.
Nous avions pensé, le président Macky Sall, que l'émergence était...
We had thought, President Macky Sall, that emergence was for the year 2035. But God has blessed us with wealth, and this timeline will be reduced by 5 years.
Cet horizon sera réduit de 5 ans.
For Amadou Ba, the political, economic, and social context of the country requires a vision focused on 3 main pillars: human capital, good governance, and shared prosperity.
Recommencer à zéro.
Starting from scratch may amuse the ego but does not serve the interest of Senegal. We have chosen to focus on 3 programmatic axes to consolidate the democratic, political, cultural, technological, and sporting achievements, to deepen them, taking into account our new resources and needs in order to engage with lucidity, wisdom, and respect in the necessary reform for the well-being of our compatriots.
Etc. De les approfondir.
Taking into account the reduced duration of the electoral campaign, which is 12 days instead of 21 days, Amadou Ba announced the start of his meetings in the suburbs of Dakar while calling on the militants, ministers, deputies or local authorities of the Benno Bokk Yakaar coalition to consider themselves as the emissaries of his electoral campaign, to represent him everywhere in the country and present his project to the entire Senegalese people. We are now off to discover one of the 19 candidates vying for the presidential election of March. Déthié Fall, a Senegalese opposition figure. He is the candidate of the party, Republican Party for Progress. Running for the first time in the presidential elections, Déthié Fall wants to make Senegal as a model of democracy that respects the separation of powers, with institutions exclusively at the service of the Republic. He is portrayed by Samantha Saberu Sabubanga.
Born in 1976 in Saint Louis in the north of Senegal, Déthié Fall is a polytechnic engineer who graduated from the École Polytechnique de Thiès. He also holds a master in business administration specializing in the management of complex and strategic projects. A candidate in Senegal presidential election on March 24, 2024, the former right-hand man of Idrissa Seck and former member of the Yewi Askan opposition coalition, is a strategist in the conquest of power.
Mes chers compatriotes,
My dear compatriots, our ambition is to free the Senegalese people first and foremost. As I said, we want to free them from social stress so that they can have quality public education, enough food to eat regularly and decent housing. Our ambition is to make Senegal a totally sovereign democratic country with diplomacy that is not just good manners and good behavior, a diplomacy that enhances win-win cooperation, whether bilateral or multilateral.
Coopération, qu'elle soit bilatérale ou multilatérale.
His political career began with a rapprochement with Idrissa Seck, president of the Remy party in 2004. He played an active role in the creation of this party, becoming president of the cadre in 2011, then combining the functions of president of the cadre and director of structures in 2013. From 2014 to 2018, he was vice president of Remy while retaining his previous responsibilities. Between 2018 and 2020, he was vice president of Remy and Idrissa Seck's number 2 in 2019 presidential election.
Notre seule et unique ambition.
Our only condition is to make Senegal a country of teranga. I repeat once again, it will be a good place to live and a beautiful place to be.
Et qui sera beau à voir.
Once elected, President Déthié Fall also promises to renew the ranks of sovereignty by promoting agriculture, education, health, and digital technology in Senegal. In terms of justice, Déthié Fall's ambitions is to make Senegal a country where justice is impartial and equidistant. In terms of the economy, the PRP candidate wants to see governance under the ban of industrialization and a dynamic economy that creates wealth and whose growth is driven first and foremost by the Senegalese people.
This concludes the second issue of the campaign journal. We look forward to seeing you and enjoying the rest of programs here in your channel, Africa 24. Thank you.